Welcome back, my fellow duplicants, to Oxygen Not Included. This is the Megabase Challenge. In the last episode here, we created a self-powering electrolyzer oxygen production system. So, hydrogen is being filtered out and oxygen is flowing into my base to let my fellow duplicants breathe easily. But in the last episode here, there's a couple of things that we talked about. And I think what I'm going to try to do today is try to create a power system that is going to run off a coal generator. Very simple, but that coal generator is also going to work to provide the atmosphere for plants. Plants such as mealwood and potentially dust caps down here, which are going to be somewhere on the map. I was looking at them. They are the little mushroom dudes. Anyhow, somewhere around here is some dust caps. Where are they? There's one. So here we go, this is one right here. So you can see its air pressure has the same sort of requirements, but it requires carbon dioxide, and it has a body temperature that is easily maintainable. So that works, and it works well, and it works in darkness. And the mealwood doesn't need light, so that actually works out pretty good there. The other thing we talked about is feeding hatches with, using mealwood or whatever those plants are in order to produce more coal inside of there so that it's kind of a self-powering system, which is a good way to, make a lot of carbon dioxide, which is used for the plants, and we can also eventually turn that into oil and then turn that into plastic and all that kind of stuff. But I think that's going to be a really useful thing, so that's what I'm going to try to build, and I think I'm going to build it over here, mainly because I'm probably going to have to control the temperature at some point, so I want to have easy access to the polluted water as a thermal conductor of heat. So that's what I got going on over there. We'll kind of turn this area into more of a farm space, just following the same theme that the food and farm and everything is all growing in the same spot over there. Alright, so to get that running, I need to go ahead and start digging up some of this area over here. In case you're wondering why I use this pattern, it's because it can jump across one spot to another. You can actually navigate the entire map without creating ladders or anything like that. I've done it before, it's pretty kind of fun to do that. However, laying out the pattern is also kind of annoying. Oh, and you know what? I see some tiles over here. So you know what that means? There's some sort of thing on the map that we can explore. So that would be a good spot to actually go dig over there and explore what's in that area. Ooh, and a little bit of chlorine in that area. That'll be useful. The other device I was thinking about making, and I've talked about it for a little while now in these past videos, is using a chlorine and space heater system to actually purify small amounts of water. It's kind of a low power system as compared to, using the aqua tuner or the liquid heater as well. Whatever that one was, whatever the unit is that's used to heat up large puddles of water. Both of those require very high amount of watts to run, whereas the space heater is really low powered, so it has its place, I think, for recycling liquid that's coming out of toilets and stuff like that. Bubbles, you're gonna dig yourself into a corner again, and there she goes. Another thing I'm going to need to do is really dig down here far, because as it was mentioned in one of the other comments here, let me pull it up. So Distragon here said, animal traps sadly require plastics, which makes sense because it's a high tier thing. So you have to dig down deep in order to get to the oil biome for them. So there's oil that's just, sitting down there that we can scoop up or suck up, I guess. And then there's also an oil well that we can get. Not to mention slicksters, which would be really cool to kind of start to play with as well. And those convert carbon dioxide, which is what I'll have over here, and they can convert that into oil. Just naturally, just a little animal that does that. Ooh, a sturdy door. Requires a sample. Let me just make sure I'm not digging into any nasty germs. There is something inside of there. Ooh, that might be bad. We'll dig over here and down, because I want to get that little dust cap out of there. Or just that fungal spore. Alright, so let's see if I can plan this out. I want to have a space over here. And that's just going to be full of carbon dioxide. Alright, so one thing I need to keep in mind is that I need to be able to fit an animal relocator inside of here, because at one point I'm going to try to, pick up a hatch and move it over there So I don't want to build this too tight and not be able to get something in there. Not that I couldn't deconstruct something and make it happen though. So that isn't a huge concern, but it would be nice to kind of plan for it. All right, so I'm trying to do a little bit of digging and exploring down this direction just to, potentially get down to some of that oil. So I'm trying to make this terrarium down here just to, you see how my duplicates, they're having such a hard time breathing all the way down here. There just isn't oxygen. There's hydrogen and plenty of chlorine around, which I'm trying to tap into here. That way I can process or clean some of the ore that I'm going to need to in order to get to some of these dust caps. Because you see the germs are over here. And before I dig those up and drag those into my base, I really need to scrub them clean. So in order to do that and get to what I need, I'm going to need to capture some chlorine. This little farm over here is coming together pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to put a thermal regulator inside of my polluted water basin here. And that's going to allow me to at least take care of some of the heat problem. So I can start to kind of transfer some of that heat here, hopefully into the water. I can use a little bit of a wire bridge to kind of pull that heat into the liquid. I can also get rid of some of these. I don't really need those anymore. Okay, so I've been thinking about how I want to run this ore scrubber. And what I really need is a supply of chlorine. And the best way I know to get a supply of chlorine in wherever I actually want it is to dig up some bleach stone and then kind of store that nearby. So I guess I need to have a tank for chlorine. And it'd be a good idea to find a way to kind of just keep chlorine by itself and let it separate out based on some of the other gases that are in there. So if this is my tank area, it'd be nice to have it kind of self-sort so that I can pull the chlorine off the bottom. So I'll put my entrance door up near the top, and then I'll kind of have a little bit of a path where I can pump in the gas and let it settle out. We did the same sort of method to separate oxygen from hydrogen at one point, so I'm looking to do that same thing. It is actually very much just like this right here, right? Same sort of idea. Alright, so there we go. This should work. There's a middle path that gas will be able to kind of figure out where it wants to go. Maybe this here should be an airflow tile. That way one can go up and the other can come down if I pump it into the middle here. I don't know. We'll see how that all works out. So over here, I've got the coal generator set up. It's actually just set down kind of low, so it isn't really running at the moment. Right now there's about 4 batteries in the system, so I might add some more here. There's also some high pressure gas vents that should run to this thermal regulator at some point once I actually figure out what I want to do there. So if I take that gas pump, I should be able to put that gas pump somewhere like right here. I don't really need to get over to these batteries. I can actually just kind of dig that up a little bit. Now I can take a gas pump and I can make a gas pump right up here where it'll be able to pull in around it. The other thing I want to have is some airflow tiles, right next to it. That way it runs a little bit more efficiently as far as being able to pull in gases to it. You don't want your gas pump to just be right next to solid objects. It just doesn't work as well. Now to wire this thing up so that it works, there's essentially what I want to have is 2 options for this thing to turn on if the temperature gets above, I guess, 30 degrees Celsius. I want to actually pump in some colder gas or take some out and pump it back in. So I've got one down here on the bottom, which may end up a little bit warmer because it's right next to the coal generator. Then there's one up on the top. Again, that one might end up warmer too because heat rises. We'll just have to see. But if either of those are going to go above the temperature, this pump should turn on. So in order to jump one so I can hook them up and like that, I'll need to have a little bit of a wire bridge. Let me deconstruct that chunk of wire and actually just go like this. And then I can take the wire bridge like that, and then I'll jump to this wire and I can bypass it to go to that pump, or I can go straight from this switch up. So that's 2 options to turn on this pump. And this pump will be on if the temperature is above, let's say, 29 degrees Celsius. Alright, so now to plumb it in, I know I can build through this because I can build across a tile here. So I can go just like this. And then using insulated, I think I do have enough for abyssalite. Now I don't necessarily need to use insulated gas pipes, but I still do it just because, I think it's just good practice. So there we go. That should take care of that. Gas system. And then for a wire bridge, what I can do is just do this number right here. That way, it'll thermally conduct, you know, the heat that's right above here, whatever this is. If it's water, well, I guess it's water right there, so this is not a big problem. This may end up flooding, and I might have to move it. We'll see. Actually, it probably will end up flooding. Hopefully not anytime soon, though. Ideally, I'd like to have like a liquid switch up here that keeps this from flooding, so I can stay thermally conducted between it. Otherwise, I could use, like I said, a little bit of a wire bridge to connect this liquid to the gas in the background there, and that gas is then conducted through the thermal regulator. Okay, so you guys want to know what world seed I'm working on here. Let me see if I can find that for you. No, I just have no idea what the world seed is. Maybe if somebody knows how to look that up. I mean, maybe it's in the, like, the saved file text or something like that, which is kind of hard for me to do while I'm playing the game. I can imagine that would be a bad idea to break into right now. Otherwise, I don't know what the world seed is. But I am kind of lucky. It looks like I got a natural gas geyser right there, and I see water over here, so there could potentially be a steam geyser somewhere up in there. That would be really handy. Matter of fact, let's go find out. How's the temperature in here? Well, it's a little warmer, 28 degrees Celsius. It's not quite to the point of tripping the thermal switch, though. These batteries let off a little bit of heat. I'm not sure that's the best spot for them. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this is enclosed in abyssalite, just in case this temperature inside of here starts to really go up high. Just to be prepared at some point. So I should be able to disable harvest here, and this should still take care of itself. Apparently, at least that's what I've heard, so we'll see. Aha! Alright, I've now broken into this so I can start to get some of that bleach stone. Let's go ahead and dig that up. Alright, so there we go. Bleach stone is now way over there. Let's find it. Bleach stone. I'll make it nice, a nice high priority. So it should be delivered to this storage compactor, so I have chlorine inside of here, which right now I do have a little bit, but I want to have more. There we go. See, now it will emit a little bit of chlorine while it sits in that storage compactor. That means I should be able to make a little bit of an ore scrubber right here. And then I just have to plug it into my system. So here we go. Actually, I might want to plug this into its own system, just because I feel like things are getting spread out. So something like this, and then I need to have a gas filter for that as well. Make sure I clean that stuff up. So ventilation, gas filter, here we go. Boom, like that. And then we'll just bring this one back over here. And we'll vent whatever else out up there. Aha! See, there is a steam geyser up there. Yeah! So I heard back from you guys all over the place, really. A lot of you guys like the idea of RimWorld or Factorio. Matter of fact, let's just see which one has more. Ooh, there's 20. And then there's 20 of the other one as well. Equal parts. See, I knew you guys would like both of those. Now, I don't necessarily have time to play that right now, but maybe at some point, as this game, you know, goes through its stages of development, or unless I just suddenly end up with a lot more time to make YouTube videos, which I don't see happening anytime soon. So, I just don't want you guys to feel like you're going to see that right away, but I'll be looking into those games. Like I said, it's one of those things I have to manage from a channel perspective. Not so much the fact that I enjoy them, there's just I have to manage it. But thank you guys for all of your responses, so that really does give me a good idea of what you guys want to see. Expand your farm and your coal generator idea. It's really good. So yes, that's what I'm doing, man. The only thing about Factorio is I heard like people lose their life when they do that. All they do is make more conveyors. I had one person at a point try to explain thermodynamics by using conveyors in Factorio. Like, that worries me a little bit. So Dmitry Gibkov here says it made himself a monster cooler. So if we take a look at this, looks like just all of that oxygen or whatever is finding its way in here. You can just see the potential for what oil can do. I really like that. That's pretty awesome. So thanks for that. At one point, we'll be looking into that here pretty soon. I definitely want to revisit that. There's like nothing but Factorio in RimWorld comments. This is madness. Oh, that was a volcano power plant. Okay. So it's... well, what's it doing? And what in the world? How is oil spanning the same amount as a door? Such magical liquid. Aha! Hey, there's that seed I wanted. So now, come back over here. Come back. There we go. A fungal spore. Go ahead and plant that sucker up. So that really needs to be down here where I've guaranteed carbon dioxide. So here we go. There we go. Plant it up. Good job, Trivaldo. It needs slime to fertilize. Well, luckily, I should have that all ready to go. So I really need a storage area for slime. Germy, nasty slime. Now, I've also heard you need to maintain an air gap between things like slime so that the germs don't cross over the two. Oh, did you guys just drag in a bunch of germs? No, looks like they're all clean. Okay, good. Now, what are you storing inside of here? Nothing that's sticking around. Why didn't that get clean? Like, it went past the ore scrubber. So I've kicked out algae here. If it doesn't get eaten up by all the hatches. And, well, okay, it might just get turned into coal. I guess that's one way to clean it. Oh, that's why, because this thing isn't running. Crap! I never turned it on. There we go. Now I got chlorine. Alright, so I'm going to have to do some crazy stuff here. Like this. Turn this priority up real high to all of these. And then dump out these storage compactors, the ones that I need to clean. Because right now, germs are getting a little out of hand, and that's what I don't want. So I'll just say off to everything, like this. With a command to sweep it all up. Okay, so without anybody managing these mealwood, you know, without them harvesting, it looks like it is continuing to work here, so it's reseeding itself. So that's worked out. So thank you for that recommendation. I like that. Hopefully I'll get more dust caps in here and really get that going. For right now, it's working. I mean, I might as well just plant more of that mealwood, just because, well, it's pretty simple. Bleach stone does not emit chlorine very fast. But it does, so, I mean, that's at least something. Alright, so now the temperature thing is starting to happen here. So I can see this click on, every once in a while it'll click on. And now the thermoregulator is up and running, so we'll start to see here what's going on. As far as the temperature is concerned, right? So a little bit of gas is coming in here and it's trying to drop that temperature down. So that's at 16 degrees Celsius or so, but it's entering about 30. And isn't really moving large chunks of gas, but that's alright. Maybe this temperature needs to be a little bit lower so it's less sensitive, I guess. Have a little bit of headroom. I mean, the thing is, these batteries really should not be in there. I mean, they just emit heat. So, and that's what you don't want inside of here. You want a controlled temperature, so you really want to get things that emit heat out of here. So, I tell you what, I'm just going to deconstruct those batteries. That's just not the right spot for them. And for whatever reason, I didn't make these walls out of abyssalite. Whoops. Oh well. Improvements can be made. Alright, there we go. See now that I've changed this to abyssalite there, That's made a big difference. So that's still sand zone, but the rest of this, if you go to temperature, yeah, you can see it's already making a difference. Okay, so now, let me just deconstruct this ladder. Right there. And then we'll make that out of abyssalite. Temperature inside of here, much better. Look at that, 27 degrees Celsius, 30 over here. But this should start to drop down. So I can use that to my advantage, though. And I could fit some refrigerators in here. Gives me a little place to store some of this stuff. You know what? This right up here is also not abyssalite. Okay, so you know what would be a good overlay to have? Like when you click on slime, it kind of navigates you around to where, you know, it is. It'd be nice to have a little overlay if I wanted to click on this to just highlight it on the map so I can zoom out and say, hey, there's slime. That would be a pretty neat little thing. But right now, all my slime is, you know, just out here in the world. I probably want to make a slime box or something out here. Just so I don't get a bunch of like polluted oxygen and slime lung where I don't want it. That sounds like a good plan, you know, for the future here. I'm pretty much out of time as far as today is concerned, if I want to get this video done and uploaded tonight. But I've made some progress over here. Let me just go ahead and turn the priority up on this just so it can be finished here. Essentially what I got going on here is just mealwood that is self-regulating there, and every once in a while I'll sweep it up and throw it inside the refrigerator just so I store up that food. So that's working out just fine. We also got the dust caps going on there, and this one's just about done as far as its growing cycle is concerned. And then I'll store the seeds in this little storage compactor over there, therefore solving this whole thing. And I think that that is a pretty decent solution as far as, you know, everything is concerned in here. This little system seems to be working out just fine. Every once in a while, this switch turns on. It's not all the time like it used to be. Clearly, the right idea was getting abyssalite around this thing so that it's isolated as far as temperature is concerned. That was a big deal. So, once I did that, you know, things are much more stable now. You can see how the cold is coming in out of the high pressure vent there, and it is really just starting to cool things down, so it's self-regulating. And depending on how far I wanted to take this, I could drive that temperature down a little bit more. But for the most part, these plants are not having any problem retaining their temperature now. They're not overheating, and that's the primary thing. This thermoregulator is slowly becoming, being covered by water. However, I did do this little fun thing. I went up here and told them to mop this area up, and they'll make a bunch of little bottles of that stuff, so they will bottle it up and create quite a lot of water up there, and then they'll take it straight to the bottle emptier and start to drop it back in. But that idea of being able to bottle water and potentially have a hatch eat it, which was talked about a couple episodes ago, it might actually work because they were able to mop that up and mop it up very, very quickly, that whole layer. So we'll have to see. I have a couple thermoregulators in here. I'm going to start to add in air conditioning for the rest of the base, you know, so we might get a little bit more advanced here, and I might potentially just expand this and get rid of this refrigerator just to kind of make this area a little bit larger. I don't know, we'll have to see what the future holds, but at any rate, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know down there in the comment section below. And if I earned your subscription, then thank you so much for that. I've heard if you subscribe, you'll get an extra 10% oxygen in your next game. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Stay awesome. Peace. Brothgar out.